Good evening and welcome to the 28th podcast of Season 2 from Those Movie Guys. We're back with a full house tonight. We have my good self Ryan, back from holiday. We have the Central Belt's #1 horror geek, Clarky. Evening, old boy.
Evening.
And the third leg to this particular tripod is Stephen Carty from the magnificent Flixcapacitor website. Hello to you, sir.
Argo yourself.
Yes, indeed. Right, tonight's featured review is Argo, the latest acting and directing double-header from Ben Affleck. It follows a group of Americans who are trapped in Tehran in the early 80s amid social unrest. Affleck is the CIA man sent in to get them out. More on that shortly. We'll also have a look at some of the movie news from the past 7 days, including a look at the new trailer for Brad Pitt's zombie apocalypse epic World War Z. Z, Clarky? Z. That's the official word we're going for.
That's my official line.
So we don't want you getting upset on air because you had a wee ranty tweet about it during the week.
Yeah, quite right too.
World War Z it is. Finally, we'll finish with our top fives, and because Ben Affleck sports a rather fetching beard in our main review, Argo,
Can I pull you up there? I would say the beard sports a rather fetching Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it is a fairly hirsute moment. So we're going to run down Hollywood's hirsute heroes. That was my alliteration for this week.
Yeah, that's good.
And do our top 5 movie beards. Loads and loads to choose from there, from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Yep.
There is some real nonsensical facial hair.
And it almost ties in with the election because we've been voting for Bush. See what?
Oh God.
Tenuous, but
right, that is very tenuous. Right, that's what's on the menu for tonight. Let's get the show on the road with our main review. Okay, the main review this week is Argo, starring Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston, John Goodman and Alan Arkin, directed by Ben Affleck as well, who has done this before. He's been behind the camera for Gone Baby Gone and more recently The Town. Did we enjoy them both? I was a big fan of The Town.
Loved The Town.
Loved The Town. I've not actually seen Gone Baby Gone. It's sitting ready to be viewed, but
you've seen it, haven't you?
Yep, I think it's really good too. I actually preferred The Town. I know it's the hipsters are firmly with his first movie. It's a bit more thought-provoking, but for me, The Town was a superior action movie. Action movies often get quite a bad rap, I find, and that's, if someone said to me, give me a good example of an action movie in the last few years, I'd point them straight to The Town.
I actually enjoyed The Town more in second viewing as well.
Yeah.
And normally with action films, it decreases because you know what's going to happen, especially that kind of plot.
It's more layered though, isn't it?
There's a bit more depth to the characters, and I've actually read the book it's based on, and he's really faithful to the book as well. So, you know, a slight change with the ending, but the story is pretty much there. So he handled it with a bit of care there as well. The story Argo's based on is a real life event. It was called the Canadian Caper in the early 80s. Affleck plays Tony Mendez, who's a CIA operative tasked with getting a group of Americans out of Tehran when social unrest hits Iran. In a bid to keep the extraction plan under cover, Affleck comes up with a fake sci-fi movie scam to get them out of the country before the government cotton on to the plan. Here's a taste of the trailer.
What happened? 6 of the hostages went out a back exit.
Where are they? The Canadian ambassador's house.
Got Revolutionary Guards going door to door. These people die. They die badly. White House, who wants the 6 of them out?
What we like for this are bicycles.
Deliver the 6 bikes, provide them with maps.
Or you could just send in training wheels and meet them at the border with Gatorade.
It's gonna take a miracle to get them out.
Hi, man. What are we watching?
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film crew for a science fiction movie.
I fly into Tehran. We all fly out together as a film crew.
I need you to help me make a fake movie.
So you want to come to Hollywood and act like a big shot without actually doing anything?
Yeah.
You'll fit right in. You need a script?
Argo, science fantasy adventure.
Moonscape, Mars, desert.
They need an exotic location to shoot.
You need a producer.
If I'm doing a fake movie, it's going to be a fake hit. You don't have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
There you go, and I think if you could sum up the film in a minute, that's a perfect way of doing it there. You get the feel of it, you get all the characters.
And the different tones as well that it managed to mix together somehow, which should normally be quite uneven, but
that's
it gels
Job done.
Really well.
We're not needed. That's done it.
My biggest fear about this film when I watched the trailer was that it was going to be an Ocean's 11 light caper film. But because it's based on real life events and they do go into them with a bit of depth, I'm not saying it's a great political breakdown of Iran at the time or anything like that, but they go into it in a bit of depth. It stops it from becoming silly, which I thought was absolutely crucial to the film's success. I really enjoyed this film.
I think with this film, you need the based on a true story. I know you get that all the time now. Every second movie you go to see is based on a true story or influenced by this. But with this, if this wasn't based on a true story, spies going over to Iran and faking a sci-fi movie, you would just discount it as, oh, that's
you wouldn't
ridiculous.
invest in them. But spoiler alert, maybe skip in 30 seconds for what I'm about to say. I think it's also one of its weaknesses is the fact that you know they're going to survive, because unless they're going to do a perfect storm, there's not as much tension, because you know there's no way they're going to make a true story based on 6 people getting horribly murdered.
I thought that as well, but to give Ben Affleck credit, he caught me up in the film so well that I was still hanging on a knife edge on the end of my seat. And the best bit about the film to me is this climactic
in the airport,
airport scene, that the film builds momentum all the way towards it at the end, and by the time it comes, you are ready for it. You're on edge, and I
didn't find that sense. I thought the scene which intercut the Argo reading with the other hostages,
the fake execution,
was more intense.
Great.
And I thought if they'd maybe spent a bit more time with those hostages as well, it would have maybe increased the peril, because I always thought, well, they're going to get away, but I don't know what's happening to the hostages over here. So I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
I still really enjoyed it. It's still one of the most watchable films I've seen all year, and one of the most enjoyable. But I didn't feel quite as caught up in the tension as I know some other people have been. I think it's more a personal thing.
You know, I got right caught up in it from the very start. I don't think there's anything that's particularly spectacular about the film.
No,
I think
it's a solid film.
It's solid. All the performances are good. They're not great. The characters aren't given that much depth, but they don't need to, because the story is so engaging.
I've got a funny feeling it's going to be nominated for the Best Picture.
Yeah, I think there's not been much else out this year.
No, I mean,
and it's because it's got that political side to it. I think they're seeing it as a kind of way to
things like The Master and Rust and Bone, things like that. You can see them getting nominated, but at this, I'd be quite happy for it to get nominated.
Yeah,
I don't think it's got much of a chance of winning. But at the same time, that's odd, because for me, I thought Looper was a far better film than Argo. I thought Skyfall was a better film than Argo. But those type of films will never get nominated in a million years. You'll never get a James Bond film getting nominated.
There's a fine line between these two. It's just the fact that it is based on a true story. It's what
it hits their buttons.
And gives it that extra weight.
Now, I agree with what you're saying a minute ago. It doesn't need the depth, but for me, that was its failing point. That's why I preferred the
You
Town.
think it could have gone a wee bit further?
I think Affleck in an interview said something like he wanted to be true to the characters, so he didn't want to maybe give them too many complex storylines that maybe weren't necessarily true. But when you watch the movie, Scoot McNairy, everyone's went on about and said he was good. He was, but all he had was, when you think back, he was just that guy that disagreed. He was the annoying one. There was nothing else to him. And
he had a cracking tash as well.
Yeah.
A real tea strainer of a tash going on there.
You look at the rest of the group, and they were unidentifiable by the end, apart from him, Scoot McNairy, obviously, and the one that was supposed to be the leader, Tate Donovan, who was supposed to be the leader, but then never. That was it. It was those two, and the rest were just blank canvases. Even Affleck, at times, I mean, he picked up a glass and sort of drank a glass, and you're like, ooh, so
you get a hint of his background.
Yeah, phones the kid, and
but it's almost superfluous to the story.
Yeah,
to the point where it's not needed.
Going on that the danger is if you added too much, it would become too baggy, and it is
possibly
such a tight and tense film that you need to keep it going all the time.
The actual way it's put together is very, very good. It's a highly entertaining film that picks up speed from the off, and it really ratchets up, and there's momentum throughout the whole film. And I think you have to give Ben Affleck credit from behind the camera for the way he's put the film together in that way.
I think it looks great, and the other thing I liked about it was not just a period setting, but the fact they didn't have someone imitating President Carter or doing that. They had just a backroom staff at the White House or the CIA, and they showed newsreels and other footage looked like newsreel footage, so it really was in keeping and gave it a more realistic sort of documentary sense for parts of it, which again added to the investing in the characters, because you're like, this actually happened.
Okay, let's give it some marks. Clarky, you go first.
I dropped it down a bit after thinking about it, so it's 79%. It was originally in the low 80s, but I've taken it just shy of.
Stevie?
4 out of 5 for me, a solid 4.
Solid 4, yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think as films go, you don't get much more entertaining than that. If you start to think about it a wee bit too much, I think bits will start coming away and it'll start annoying you. But as a bit of cinematic entertainment, pure 2 hours of just good bit of fun on this on the screen.
I was going to say, I think it's genuinely funny,
Oh yeah,
there's genuine laugh out loud moments.
I didn't know that going in. Yeah. I purposefully didn't watch the trailer, and going in, I did not know anything about the humour. And on paper, I think that the sort of having a Hollywood satire cut through it sounds awful, but it really, really worked. And Alan Arkin is fantastic.
Yeah, him and John Goodman, they're kind of like the comic relief at points, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, they play an integral part in the Extraction itself as the setup, but they are the lines. You could argue brilliant. He arguably gets the best lines.
By the end, and every line he's saying by the end is funny.
Yeah.
I don't have a desire to see it again though. Strangely, I really liked it. I was impressed by it, and I would argue for it being a good movie. But wait, Clarky, you were saying you enjoyed The Town second time.
Yeah.
I'm really keen to watch The Town again. I bought it recently on Blu-ray, and I'm really keen to see it again. I've seen Gone Baby Gone 3 times, I think. But Argo, I've seen it, and okay, really liked it.
I think at the moment, no, but in 6 months' time,
I agree with you.
When it comes out in DVD, I'll be like, oh, I want to see that again. Where Skyfall, I came out and was like, I want to go and see that again right now.
In season 3, episode 19, suddenly hit me right in the middle of the podcast. Just say, Steve, do you want to see it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give that a go. Right, round up the rest of the weekend's viewing. You've seen The Sapphires, Stevie? 30 seconds.
Tapped my foot away to The Sapphires, yeah. I think if you go in knowing what it is and kind of you're in the mood for it, I think you have to be in the mood for it. If you want to go and sink your teeth or your brain into something, no, you're going to be left. But it's kind of the Full Monty, Dreamgirls, The Commitments, and Alf Stewart sort of from Home and Away rolled up into one ball. And
fun.
I like Motown and soul, so yeah, enjoyed it.
Does Chris O'Dowd steal the film? That's the look of the trailer to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think he looks highly entertaining in that. He gets all the best lines in the trailer.
I say that as someone that didn't like Bridesmaids.
Oh, no.
And is it as faithful? Is the trailer a true indication? Because he's come out in an interview saying, "Oh, I don't know why they're marketing it this way. It's a totally different film." Is that nonsense?
I wouldn't have said so. No, from the trailer, I just thought that's what the movie you're going to get, and I went in and I thought, yeah,
that's what I got.
It's not really that deep. It kind of hints on Australian slavery and things like that, but really hints as in that happened. Boom, here's Stevie Wonder.
Boom. Clarky, you saw My Brother the Devil. Give us a quick rundown in 30 seconds.
Sort of a London gangster film, and it starts off the usual tropes. It's like good brother, younger brother's going to get caught up with his older brother, and then it takes a really interesting turn and starts looking at sexuality and different things within gangs, and genuinely tense, genuinely thrilling, and really interesting, and some fantastic performances.
That's a bit of a one you'll have to search out for. It's not on everywhere, but well worth the effort, you say?
Yeah, it was only on 2 showings, I think, in Glasgow. I managed to catch one of them, and it was... Yeah,
are there any former EastEnders actors in it?
Not that I'm aware of, but I don't watch EastEnders, so I don't know.
That's me out, I'm not interested.
And I'm going to give you a 30-second rant on Love Bite, which you went to see, and your Twitter reaction was highly entertaining.
It was one of the worst films. No, I think it actually was the worst film I've ever seen. We watched Mother's Day last year, and I gave that.
Timothy Spall doing that?
Oh, I reckon he's maybe in the Super Injunction, and someone had something on him last year, and that was how they managed to rope him in. Last year I gave Mother's Day 3%, and that makes this sound like it's 3%, only 3% worse than Mother's Day, but it's infinitely worse than Mother's Day.
So this is in the running for your worst of the year.
It's stick on number 1. There's nothing worse than this that I've seen. And I
tell me these things. I now have to go and see this.
The idea of seeing something worse makes me just never want to go to the cinema again. It almost ruined cinema for me. I almost had to just take a 12-month sabbatical just to get over it.
Oh God! My only other viewing of the weekend was Paranormal Activity 4, which I went in to see as a bit of a numbers booster, and actually it was all right for the first kind of 80% of it, and then the final 20%, 20 minutes or so, it just goes daft. They do quite a good job of setting up the kind of creepy, unsettling atmosphere. Very creepy kid involved in it all, had me kind of on edge and jumping, and then the end just goes a bit daft, and then the actual finale of the film completely ruins everything that's gone before. I just ended up walking out immediately in a bit of kind of disgust and minor amusement about how bad it actually is.
The original Paranormal Activity kind of does that as well. It's really creepy up to a certain point, or it's like an interesting premise, and then the end just blows out of the water and changes it into something that's not.
That series seems to have a real kind of diehard following, so I suspect if you're into it, then you'll probably get a bit out of it.
I think it's just something that needs to replace Saw.
Yeah.
They've got something that they can
this
turn
is
out
the
one a
problem
year.
I have with these, is that they churn them out so fast. Loved the original Saw. I thought it was real good, but I just find it difficult to maintain interest in something when you know it's getting conveyor belted out that quick. Take some time, make it good.
It's just something that's got a ready-made audience, and the kind of people that go to see those films just want the same thing.
Oh no,
over and over again.
I completely agree. But who cares about them?
No, exactly. That's why I was so surprised by Sinister, because I was expecting a similar kind of thing, and it genuinely was.
Yeah, but Sinister 2's out tomorrow and 3's on Friday, so.
The trilogy, Sinister, with you before Christmas. Right, okay, that about rounds up the viewing for the weekend, so let's do some movie news. Okay, first up this week in movie news is a quick breakdown of the World War Z trailer. Now, we've got particular interest in this film because parts of it were shot in Glasgow.
Yep.
And Clarky is a big fan of World War Z, the book. He's lent it to me. I am now a convert. It is absolutely fantastic. So, to say that the trailer is a letdown is a bit of an understatement, really, isn't it? The first thing I see when or the first thing I think when I see it is I Am Legend. CGI'd I Am Legend times 10, you know.
Now, with I Am Legend, I don't know how you guys feel. I really liked 2/3, maybe a half of I Am Legend. I thought for a lot of it was a superb picture, much better than I was expecting. But why do you need to do CGI for zombies or walkers or whatever you want to call them? You don't need to. Makeup, white makeup, whatever.
And the ending, the scene where the dog was missing is genuinely
on your edge of your seat. And I hate that expression, but it's true.
As you're saying, 2/3 of the film, he carries the film by himself, which is no mean feat. He's pretty much the only guy on screen, and it works. And then
it's such a missed opportunity, because that could have been.
And the ending, compared to the ending of the book, is just so bad. There's
also an alternative ending.
There's definitely a link there between the two of them in the fact that I think they've taken the bad elements of I Am Legend, and these are the bits that are shown in this World War Z trailer.
That's spot on. They've taken the bad elements. They've taken what they shouldn't have taken, basically.
Yeah, so masses of CGI zombies, and they look like they're running as well, which is not the point of the book.
No.
In the book, they're just this slow mass that just can't be stopped. And
why I was quite surprised they were doing the book, because the book's actually not even told necessarily during the actual zombie invasion. It's
an oral history, isn't it? And that's what gives it this unique take on a very kind of out there idea.
And I always thought it'd work better as a TV show. I think I kind of said to you, like a Band of Brothers style thing, where you maybe had people getting interviewed and there was some sort of almost a documentary recreation style things. But yeah, it's just, this is so action heavy and just so against the whole theme and general idea of the book that it just sits really poorly, and Brad Pitt doesn't look that bothered either.
It does not look promising. It looks like you've totally nailed it on the head. It looks like it's taken the bad elements of I Am Legend, which is criminal already, because that was a kind of playbook of what not to do. That kind of said, don't do this.
Yeah, and well, Brad Pitt there as well. It doesn't really look like he's bringing much to the table other than I'm Brad Pitt. This is me in an action movie running about with my long hair. Looking good for the ladies.
Scene where he's running about on the rooftop, I think looks genuinely unconvincing that he's running, if that's even possible. It looks like he's just like, I can't be bothered doing this.
So it's fair to say we're a bit let down by the trailer.
Yes.
Can it be pulled back?
I don't know. I've got such.
I'm pretty sceptical as well.
I think I'm going to go into it not looking forward to it, and it's going to be quite hard to win me over.
I'm feeling the same way as you.
That trailer's so action heavy. If that's indicative of what's going to, I mean, the only thing is, if it's not, the film's not going to be that action heavy. But I can't see that being.
There
the
was
case.
a lot of talk about rewrites and scripts and whatnot. Trouble,
massive reshoots.
Yeah, there's a lot of trouble about this film already, isn't there?
That could go two ways. The fact that they shot loads in Glasgow and then apparently have binned most of the Glasgow stuff and went back to America to do reshoots. That tells you there was trouble. Now, it could go two ways. One, that could be some producer or director going, hold on, this is looking a bit duff here, let's sort this. You know, Back to the Future style when they sacked Eric Stoltz. Or it could just be, it's a turkey and they're trying to fix it and it's going to get even muddlier or messier.
Just throwing more money at it to try and cover up the patches elsewhere.
Right, well, let's swiftly move on from that. Pick up from something we were talking about last week when Stevie and I were here. We obviously knew the news about Star Wars being picked up by Disney, or Lucasfilm, and the franchise going to Disney. They've now put a name to the script. It's Michael Arndt, who was behind Little Miss Sunshine, the script for that, which was excellent. I really enjoyed it. And Toy Story 3, which, you know, there's a lot more to that script than meets the eye at first look. This is kind of heartening here.
I think Toy Story 3 is probably the best case in point, because it is, the first two were brilliant by themselves, so you didn't need a third one, and yet you got it to work somehow. So I mean, that's pretty much what you're saying about Star Wars. You don't necessarily need it, but if he can work away
So that shows he can maybe look at existing and pick out, right, that's what we need to concentrate on, or we need to take that from that. And
the other bit of news is that the original cast, or the main members of the original cast, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, all look like they're going to come back. They're not going to be the main characters of the film. The films are going to be based on new characters, but they're all going to have at least cameos or minor roles in the new trilogy. That potentially could work if it's done right. If it's handled right.
It could.
Do you not think?
You know, we were speaking about this last week. I had a thought about what I would do. I would set it in the future, far future, right? And have it so that they're so relaxed. You know, Skywalker's Jedi Empire or whatever has been built up. Not Empire, bad choice of words. But you know, they're so relaxed about the universe being imbalanced that they don't sense the Empire coming back. And then it's like kind of dark, boom, the bad guys are back, take over and go from it that way. That's what I would have.
No,
because if you have it still with the old characters, it's still going to be fresh in the mind. So
I think it's a very clever trick, because by keeping the old characters involved, you're going to associate with the original trilogy before you do with the prequels. And
that's
I think
a good point.
That and it's just a natural way of dealing it in my head. And I think that if it's done well, will work in its favour.
It could also pull you out the film a little bit, like if Sean Connery had got the it might just totally pull you out the film. You go, oh, look, there's Harrison Ford. Oh look, it depends what.
Can Harrison Ford still
are they
get the suave Han Solo gunslingers
as themselves, or are they going to do cameos in the style of sort of Charlton Heston and Planet of the Apes remake?
I think Mark Hamill could work. I think his character's definitely got the most legs out of the three of them.
I think Hamill's still got the enthusiasm, probably, because he's been working a lot less than everyone else. So,
well, he's become a bit of a voice actor and all
that.
Well,
he has.
Yeah. So
what I mean is, he seems to embrace the geeky genre stuff, whereas Ford won't touch it with a barge pole.
Exactly. Well, I think he's getting involved though, so he must smell a check coming his way.
Either that, or he wants a new mansion or something.
But anyway, I thought that was quite interesting, and it was good to kind of follow up from last week. Oh, there's a wee hand up from Clarky there. Come on then.
Back to something else you were discussing last week.
Yes.
Could I get the theme tune from Indiana Jones, please?
Well, do you want me to whistle it, or do you want me to hum it, or?
I
was even going to do the opening.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Superman! Yes, this was the point. You couldn't do all three in a row.
Well, that was him you've got wrong, you know.
Yeah.
You spoiled my chance there.
Sorry, I've stepped. I was getting a wee bit overexcited.
Ryan's got the forfeit then. We both got scot-free.
Every morning in the shower.
I've got to go and see Love Bite.
Yeah.
This week. That's my forfeit.
Yeah.
I thought the forfeit was doing a podcast in the nude, was it not? That was the one.
That is a forfeit for us if he has to do that. The forfeit should be on him, right?
Exactly. No, you kind of touched on the last bit of movie news, just a very quick bit. Again, we'd like to follow on from Skyfall. It's one of our favourite movies of the year, there's no doubt about that. We did a whole podcast devoted to it. And it turns out in interviews with Sam Mendes over the last 7 days, he said that Sean Connery, and you kind of gave it away in the last section there, but Sean Connery was considered for a wee cameo type role in Skyfall. Which would have been A, good or bad? Clarky?
Initially, when I saw the film, I thought, well, that'd been brilliant if that had been Connery. And then after reading Mendes' reasons for not wanting it, I was like, he's spot on.
Yeah.
I'd have messed up Skyfall and ruined it for everyone.
Firstly, there's no chance that Connery would have done it.
No.
I mean, you can't even get the guy to do it. It was that recent Bond documentary, Everything or Nothing. He never even turned up for it. He wouldn't even let himself speak about it. You can't even get him to talk about Bond on camera nowadays. So there's no chance he's going to appear in a Bond film. But no, bad idea, I think. Lee Tamahori, the guy that directed Die Another Day, he's recently come out and said there was a scene written for Die Another Day where Brosnan was injured and he went to this castle in Scotland, and dotting about the corridors was Connery. And that was because they were going to do, the Bond theory where James Bond is a number, 007's James Bond's a code name. Brosnan was going to have some sort of crisis with his career and he wasn't going to know what to do next, and he was going to consult Connery, who was the first Bond, and he was going to tell him how to do it right. And
I'm so glad that never happened.
Yeah, so that was a theory for a few years ago. I'm not sure what they would have done now, but no, I think it's a bad idea.
I'm glad that didn't happen. But I also thought the James Bond kind of code name kind of...
I like his theory,
And
it makes sense in some ways.
I'm surprised that they showed in Skyfall his parents' graves as an even actual Bond, especially when...
Because that kills it dead.
Yeah, especially when M effectively is a code name as well, and Q is a code name which is revealed in the film. It kind of...
It
was starting. I was like, "Oh, this makes more sense." And then it was, especially like if you're a spy, you wouldn't be going about going, "Hi, name's Clark, Stuart Clark." Like, what? You're the worst spy ever, lad. I assumed it was a Jason Bourne style. This is his code name.
No, I never really thought about it that way.
There's an essay online about it that makes a lot of sense. For example, Lazenby's Bond is only one Bond, but he's only one Bond because his wife gets killed, so
he's out.
He's out. He's mentally done. They bring Connery back to sort things out for a while. He's then too old, and then Moore comes in.
Do we think Sean Connery was threatened by the Craig? Now that Daniel Craig, I think he's pretty much won everyone over as the best Bond.
I honestly don't think Connery cares.
He doesn't care.
No.
I don't think he gives two hoots about Bond anymore.
He's off in some island.
I think he stopped caring about Bond when the Goldfinger credits rolled. I think when that rolled, he was like, I'm so done with this.
I'm out.
Because if you watch documentaries about him, not just about Bond, about him, he's so disengaged with it. He's so anti-Bond. Wants nothing to do with it, which, fair play, you can understand. But when a Bond rolls around every now and then, you want some sort of banter with him. So give us some anecdotes. I listened to that.
He could have milked it dry.
Yes, like Moore's doing, and it's brilliant. You can listen to
but Moore laughs at himself.
Yes, and Moore is so self-deprecating, so charming and honest. You listen to him, and I've heard that story before, but it's brilliant. Tell me again about the crocodiles, Roger.
I can imagine you sitting in front of the telly speaking to Roger.
Oh, I've got the photograph like Alan Partridge, next to the bed.
Right. I heard M was meant to die in Quantum of Solace originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'd written the scene in and then it got binned.
God, I think quite a lot of that film got binned by the final cut.
You say that. I've just as I was walking in the door, I was listening to a podcast about that, and I found out about the Quantum of Solace script, what actually happened from the writers themselves. Wade and Purvis, is it?
Yeah. I think this was the same one that I found out. But
they wrote a script.
This is new to me. Carry on.
They wrote a script for Quantum of Solace. They were very happy with it. They brought in Paul Haggis for the polish, just the same as Casino Royale. He had only started. He threw a lot of their stuff out. Was starting to polish, and then the writer's strike hit. Didn't have enough time to put in a movie of his own, so that's why it's a kind of incomplete, very lean movie.
So do we think Question of Sport, Quantum of Solace, whatever you want to call it, is a big casualty of the writer's strike? Is that what it's essentially?
Definitely sounds like it. Craig's been hinting at it for years, but I think that's the writers saying that, and they said, they kind of jokingly said, well, if they just stuck with theirs, it would have been fine.
Mind you, they were also involved in Die Another Day, so we can never be too sure.
Yeah, but that was pre Casino Royale, so. Yeah.
They've redeemed themselves since then.
Yes,
we'll let them off. They haven't. Okay, let's move on to the final section of the podcast. Of course, it's our top fives. Okay, this week's top 5 is the best movie beards, as we're honouring the beard that wears Ben Affleck in our main review this week, Argo. It is a quite spectacular beauty of a hairy 80s beast, isn't it?
It's a lot better looking with a beard and that haircut than...
the combo with the power mullet that's going on as well.
I think he genuinely looks a lot better than he does. When you see him in the interviews at the moment, he looks more like Armageddon.
That's because he has got a bit of a Desperate Dan chin about him, Affleck, hasn't he?
That beard was fresh.
So what were you looking for when you were going for your beard?
Beard was fresh.
That beard was fresh.
You spelt that with a PH as well.
What were you looking for when you kind of got down to the nitty gritty and were choosing your movie beards?
Just cool beards. Just if I was going to grow one, what we want it to look like.
I kind of wanted beards that kind of made a character as well. I think all these beards that I picked are essential parts of the characters themselves.
Right, got you.
That's my theory anyway. I'm prepared to have it shot down by you boys.
I've got two like that. I kind of, because there was so many, and I thought there'd be quite a lot you have, I went for some pretty random...
Some niche choices.
3, because I know they'll get binned, but I just wanted to put them in for banter.
Well, on that note, Mr. Clark, on you go.
So, number 5, I've got... Well, it was a toss-up between 2 from the same film. It was from Kingpin, and it was either Woody Harrelson's fake one, when he's drinking the milk.
Yep.
Or the old granny. And since... Woody Harrelson's joke involved his Mauser around his beard, I went for the old granny because that was a proper beard. And it's an obvious joke, but I love Kingpin, and any chance to get in my top 5, I'll throw it in.
Yeah, I know, and it still is pretty funny to this day. It's still, the laughs hold up pretty well in Kingpin. I do enjoy it. Number 5, Mr. Carty.
Tony Stark.
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Reason being, I genuinely don't like goatees. I don't think there's anyone that ever looks good with a goatee. Facial stubble, beard, No, I mean, Des Lynam can look cool with a moustache, but I don't think anyone ever looks good with a goatee. Even Craig David. But somehow Tony Stark looks cool.
No, and it's an essential part of his character. It almost adds to the smarminess and the self-confidence.
If Tony Stark was clean-shaven, he wouldn't look the same.
No, it's good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, the only one that I might have to contend with that, although you probably won't like it, would be the dude from The Big Lebowski. He's got a kind of goatee. Sorry.
Let's carry on.
The dude carries on.
The dude carries on. My number 5, it was an iconic beard in the fact that no one else has got a beard like this in cinema history. So I went for Chia Hu Liu as Pai Mei from the Kill Bill series. And that's an absolute beauty of a beard, long tash combo.
It's not a beard though. It's a
it's
a toilet light switch.
But it is so unique. And it absolutely adds to the character. Do you not think?
Definitely, yeah.
I thought it was
the thing you remember of him.
It's exactly it. So
I had that in my number 2.
Your number 2?
Because that was the only one that I thought was...
You know,
you'll see my other choices why it was number 2.
Yeah. Okay, so I think he's a side character, but it's a cracking beard tash combo.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4, Mr. Clark.
My number 4 is a beard that actually never was in the films. In the sense that it's Brad Pitt for The Fountain before he pulled out. Because you remember for about 2 years he just was growing this facial hair to be in Darren Aronofsky's The Fountain, and it was the biggest, tangliest mess, and it was horrendous.
Right, I want them to now make a documentary about him not being in the film called The Beard That Never...
The Beard That Never Was.
And then he ended up going, oh no, I'm not going to do it now. And it's... I don't know how many films he must have not been able to do because he was growing this beard out.
Brilliant.
And so I thought it was an incredible beard as well. I had beard envy because it was a proper Alan Moore Watchmen style.
Yeah, it had depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had real depth to it.
I mean, you could put 5, 10, 15 biros in there and he wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah. Well,
Beard Pit?
Yeah, I don't think we can have it in the top 5. I think it's well worth mentioning.
That's why I had
good story, but I don't think we can have a beard that never was in the ultimate top 5.
That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't lower down the list.
Good. Well, no, it's a good anecdote about beards. I like that. You brought something new to the table.
Yeah.
Fresh. Yes. I like that. It's a bit of fresh pH. Okay, number 4, Stevie.
Bit of an out one here. It's not particularly thick or bushy, but it's there, and like we say, it adds to the character. And he's one of my favourite villains of all time. Is General Zod, Terrence Stamp's beard from Superman 2.
Yeah, very good.
I just love him as a character, I think. And I'm really excited about Michael Shannon as him in Man of Steel. I think fantastic.
Has he not pulled out? I think Michael Shannon in the last couple of days has pulled out of the new Superman. If I read that somewhere, I could be wrong, but
surely they've been filming for too long for him to pull out.
We'll have to check that up. But anyway, carry on.
Well, you're just massively crestfallen now.
Yeah.
Somebody getting the phone to Terrence Stamp. No, but I think Stamp is phenomenal the way he plays it. I mean, you look at him standing next to Reeve. Reeve is 6'4", 225 pounds. In the iconic suit, and then Zod stands next to him and not dominates him, but you know he's a real genuine threat, and I think a lot of that is due to
it's the 3 aliens that are together as well, isn't it? It's the
Ursa,
girl,
I mean,
Non, and Zod.
Arguably the other guy has got a better beard.
He's got a better one, but he's a rubbish character.
Yeah.
He comes from the kind of Eastern European alien area, doesn't he? It's a real kind of Russian or a Estonian type beard there. Yeah,
Soviet commander beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've gone for a kind of similar beard to that, a very kind of bushy, unkempt beard. So I've gone for Al Pacino as Frank Serpico in Serpico, and I think
honourable mention. Yeah,
it's an honourable mention. I think that beard is a crucial part of his character.
That is Serpico.
Yeah, you couldn't have Serpico without the beard.
Yeah, no.
Do you agree?
I agree with you.
Because he's clean shaven at the start, isn't he? When he's not really inverted commas Serpico, but when he starts becoming Serpico, the beard pops up.
Yeah, exactly, and it becomes a part of his.
It's kind of like a mirror of his incorruptibility. The more beard he gets, the more you can't buy him.
That's why he's awesome. Okay,
that should have been the poster's tag.
That's why he's awesome. Okay, number 3, Clarky.
Number 3, if you thought my previous 2 choices were loose, then wait until you hear this. I've gone for Alma from Brokeback Mountain in a sort of reference to my tweet earlier, in the sense that beard is quite often a word used for a female partner who's used to hide someone's sexuality.
He's gone really niche and loose with this.
Laughing.
Your middle name is now off the wall.
It's niche.
I knew there'd be so many other genuine beards.
Yeah, no, well, I like your crazy thinking.
It's also still quite a unusual film, Brokeback Mountain. There's not that many mainstream films that do deal with sexuality and
it's become
things like that.
it's become a bit of an iconic film for that very reason, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't work nearly as well today's setting it works because he was
the
expected
film.
to have a wife, and he had to have a beard, and he had to, and because of that, it works.
Because it was based on a short story originally, I think, wasn't it?
Annie Prue.
Yeah, and yeah, no, there's no doubt. It's,
do you guys like it? Just out of interest.
I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a superbly well made film. I think
it's such a crying shame that so many people instantly write it off and won't watch it. I've tried to recommend it to so many people, and they instantly I'm not watching that. No. It's such a shame. It's a beautiful film,
and I kind of liken it to Philadelphia in many ways, in the way it tackles issues that weren't being talked about at the time. So I think you cannot deny the film's important, and it's Ang Lee. It's superbly well put together, and the two guys, Jake Gyllenhaal and
Heath
Ledger, two very brave men to step up to the roles, and no, you've got to tip the cap to them, tip the cowboy hat to them.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me. Oh no, you're number 3 before me. Yes. Sorry.
Yep. I'm going to go for Tom Cruise in Last Samurai.
Oh, nice.
Because that's a real bad boy. That is. Even though Cruise, you can see areas of his face where he's struggling to get it together. But again, it's part of his character, because he plays a sort of broken down military man who's drinking a lot of sake and giving up. And yeah, love it, because you don't see Cruise with a beard. Cruise is your sort of definition of a clean cut action hero.
Do you think sake adds to the hair growth? Because these samurais used to rock a good bit of facial hair, didn't they?
Dabbing some on me then.
Yeah, a bit of sake to help the growth.
Sake in cold climates.
Yeah, good beards.
Because you need to grow a beard when it's cold.
And Scientology and running fast.
Yeah, oh god. I'm really intrigued to see how much running he does in the new Jack Reacher film. I saw the trailer for it today. I'm not feeling it. I really am not feeling it, but he's the cruiser.
Yeah.
I'm a Cruise apologist, so I wouldn't have a bad word said about him.
No, but Last Samurai, I quite like that. I quite enjoyable film. I put it in the same category as Argo in the fact that I'm not sure how historically accurate it is, but it's highly entertaining.
But they've got samurais versus ninjas, and who doesn't like that?
Yeah,
it's
correct.
Amazing. Possibly one of my favourite Cruise movies. Probably, yeah.
His last really good one, you think?
His last essential one, I would say, certainly.
Yeah, that was after Minority Report, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah. Well, you almost stole my thunder and I stopped you cutting off. But number 3, I've gone for Jeff Bridges as the dude in The Big Lebowski. It is a goatee.
Yeah, it's kind of stubble filled in. So
and it's a goatee with real body as well.
Yeah.
It really sticks. It's like a kind of cylindrical goatee going on there. And again, I think it's a crucial part of the dude's character. You couldn't have a clean shaven dude, could you?
No, it wouldn't work.
No, it would certainly not. Even you're a fan of The Big Lebowski, are you not, Stevie? I know you're not a huge fan of the Coens.
I'm not. I'm sorry. No.
Sorry. No, you just don't.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Bear in mind, I watched it and didn't like it, and I watched it again at uni, trying to sort of get into the Coens. Still couldn't like it, and I thought I'd give up. And I keep meaning to go back again. So
it's the most Coen-y of Coen films, I think. Is it?
That says it all. That definitely won't like.
I still love it. I think it's great, and I think he's become an iconic character as well.
Yeah. I think I might go hypnotherapy, because my life would be so much easier if I just liked the Bloody Brothers.
Okay, number 2, Mr. Clark, you had...
I had Pai Mai.
Pai Mai. Okay then, number 2, Stevie?
Quite a sort of boring choice, but Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Brilliant.
Not really much to say about it, just Alec Guinness, grew up with him as the kind of, sort of teacher figure, beard, old white beard. Brilliant.
Denotes the wisdom, that beard, doesn't it?
Basically, yeah. I mean, I've seen loads of Ealing films. I've studied Ealing at university, but when anyone says Alec Guinness, I think white beard, brown robe. Hello there. That's what I think of. That's him saying hello to R2-D2. But
no, it was brilliant. It was like Alec Guinness was in the room there for a second. I can't believe I've left that off my list. I think that would probably have to go on. I didn't even make honourable mentions there, just an overlook there. Because I've gone for another cracking fantasy beard, which absolutely makes the character. So I've gone for Gandalf, Sir Ian McKellen. And it is an absolute beast. I think it's the biggest beard of my top 5.
Which
is
one?
That real?
Grey or white?
Great geek question, that.
Which one's longer? I can't even remember. I go for the one that goes down to his belly button.
Right.
Yeah,
surely the grey one's longer, is it not? Because when he goes white, he goes all neat and tidy.
And his hair goes all thin and all that.
Yeah, I think he's older, so it might have grown more.
Either way, Gandalf in there.
Yeah.
Don't steal my thunder there. So I thought, and it's an iconic beard. You couldn't have the wizard without the beard, could you?
No.
The wisest of wizards with the biggest of beards.
Gandalf the Mach 3. No, that does not work.
And he's obviously donning it again for the Hobbit in a few weeks' time as well. So I think he'll be round and about.
Yes.
Okay, number 1 then, Mr. Clark. What have we got?
There's only one. There's one beard that I would want to grow.
You have got to be kidding me.
What?
Well, that's the catchline from the movie that you're doing, surely.
McCready.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all agreed?
Yeah, I've got that as my number 1 as well.
Yeah,
Really?
oh, yeah, of course.
I'm surprised you've not got Pierce Brosnan in Die Another Day.
Oh, get lost.
Well, we couldn't have an RJ McCready that was clean shaven, could we?
No.
And
again, full climate, you just need it in there.
I knew you'd have it in there because you shoehorn in the thing at any moment, any chance you get. But in this case, I actually agree with you. And
it's so cool.
It is a cool beard, yeah. And it's an essential part of his character. And as I say, you're in the cold climate, you're growing the beard. Heavy, I'd say McCready likes a drink.
Yeah.
It's one beard that makes character sense as well.
Yes.
Because he's in the cold, he doesn't even need to be looking good or whatever, so he just lets himself go.
But if there was one beard, they said you can grow a beard tomorrow, what would you wouldn't fasten a wee goatee, you wouldn't have a pie, you'd have a... And because it's a real beard as well. Like Gandalf, I think, is a fake beard.
Oh, there's no way, yeah.
Obviously, but this is a proper man's
beard.
The
question is, would you grow the power mullet that he sports as well for the full McCready look?
I'd wear a leather jacket everywhere as well.
The sad thing is, I actually believe you.
That's not that big a stretch of the imagination. I've got a semi-mullet going on at the moment, I just don't have the facial hair to pull it off.
Oh, well, it's coming up to winter.
Yeah.
McCready o'clock on the clock. Okay, any honourable mentions that we've gone on?
Huge one that I cannot believe everyone's missed out. Some of my honourable mentions is Voltan from Flash Gordon. Nobody mentioned that.
Oh,
Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed. Well, I kind of thought about putting Ming the Merciless in
for
his wee kind of pointy number as well. But there's a good bit of facial hair in Flash Gordon.
I thought you'd have the Wolfpack. I thought you'd have.
Alan Garner. That was my other one. Zach Galifianakis, and that's a beauty of a beard.
Tom Hanks, Castaway as well.
Yeah, I thought that would make your top 5. I have to say, because I know you like Castaway.
And the one that I was going to put in, especially with regards to character, but I decided, although he's not clean shaven, it's not full beard, was Wolverine.
Oh. Yeah,
it just comes down to there.
Mutton chops, aren't they?
Mutton chops, but he's not. It's still kind of joined to the bone. But I thought it was a really good way to bring what is quite a ridiculous character into a real sort of more and ground it in reality, which is the first half of X-Men kind of does.
It's almost becomes a chin strap, doesn't it? If we're getting technical about the beard.
It is a proper. It's a way that make that character work, and it's really good.
That's a good one. That's a good one we missed out, I think. My other one was Richard Kimball in The Fugitive, Harrison Ford's. I love that beard. And that's one of the few convincing beard removal scenes you see in movies as well. Usually when you've got a duff character who has their beard, they suddenly appear in the clean shaven, but this one you see Ford going at it and he's really taking that beard off, with the scissors and the razor. You feel that shave.
Oh, actually, beard's coming off. The Royal Tenenbaums. Luke Wilson's character, I can't remember what his name is, the tennis player.
Yeah, the
Bjorn Borg style.
Takes his sock off.
That's also a fresh looking beard.
A fresh beard.
It's a fresh get up he's got altogether. Actually.
Right, let's try and do a definitive top 5. We know who number 1 is, so that's fine. So I think lots to choose from. There's a couple of crossovers. So starting number 5, you had Serpico in your honourable mentions. I had it in my top 5. Shall we put
Serpico
Pacino in there?
Equals beard for me. So
yes, absolutely, put that in there. We all liked Gandalf at number 4, so Sir Ian McKellen, we'll put him in there.
Yep, nice and timely for The Hobbit coming out as well, as you were saying.
I think that beard will stand the test of time as well. Number 3, you and I both had Pai Mei from Kill Bill. Chai Huey Liu? I'm probably butchering his name there, but Pai Mei from Kill Bill.
I think so. It's as we're saying, an integral part of that character.
And it's a unique, there's very few beards like that.
Homages.
It's a stroker.
Yeah.
I think we've got to tip the cap to Stevie at number 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I can't believe I left that off. That's a really famous movie beard.
That's shocking for you.
He's got but I'm disgusted with myself there. And number 1, we all agree that very rarely does that happen. R.J. McCready, Kurt Russell from The Thing, still looking fresh. As the Clark likes to say. That about does it for this week's edition of the podcast. But as always, this is where we want you guys to get involved. Have you seen Argo? Did you love it or did you hate it? Do you agree with our top 5 movie beards? Drop us a line and let us know. Our email address is thosemovieguys@hotmail.co.uk. You can drop us a line there. You can also follow us on Twitter. Just search for @thosemovieguys. That's where we give quick reviews when we get to the cinema, discuss the latest movie news, and try and get a general film banter going online. We always tweet people back when they get in touch. Don't be shy, give us a try, get in touch, we love it when you do. Next week, I think we're going to have to review The Master aren't we? That's the film of the weekend. The latest effort from art house darling Paul Thomas Anderson, and obviously starring the most excellent pairing of Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix. Really looking forward to it, this one. You've seen it already, hold your tongue. But, you know, there's a lot to talk about there. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
It's a lot to discuss.
Definitely.
The only thing I was struggling with is a top 5 for that. So
cults.
Is there enough cults in the movies to
Yeah, there's good organize. You could do your top 5 Andersons. You could do
just rank his films 1 to 5. Yeah,
because
he's only done.
Well, he's done 6.
He's done 6.
Yeah. He doesn't actually include Hard 8. I read recently because he was making it as Sydney. The studio cut it as Hard 8 and cut him out of the process, and he does not include it.
Interesting. I've not seen all his films, so I could only go with the ones that I have.
Which ones have you not seen?
I've not seen Hard 8. I've seen Magnolia. I've seen Boogie Nights. I've seen There Will Be Blood.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yes, Punch Drunk Love.
You've seen everything then.
Is that 4 or 5?
That's 4 plus Hard 8 would be 5 plus the Master 6.
Okay, so right. Well, shall we just do straight up top 5 Paul Thomas Anderson then?
Rank them, yeah.
Okay, that should be interesting. Next week, there'll be plenty to discuss there. Right then, that's it for tonight. We're back at the same time in 7 days. So until then, take care and thanks for listening.